back, everyone, to the channel. Another Let's Talk. I know that's what I'm doing, pretty much all I'm doing nowadays, but I couldn't keep talking or keep putting out these Let's Talks without doing something about Mario. Um, it is the uh, height or antithesis of Super Mario. I do believe. I really do. I think we're at the apex level now, as Mario has um, reached an all-time high with and we'll come back to this page. This is the Nintendo official Mario page, I think. Um, but if we look up here, let's see. That is not the page I wanted. Let's see if we can go, yeah, with the opening of Super Nintendo World in Hollywood, California in 2023. That was earlier this month. Um, and in fact, I think if you're able or really want to go see Super Nintendo World, uh, up until I don't know how exactly how long, but I know with the channels that I've watched about the park and some of the things that they have in the park, there is a kind of a almost a watch or a slap bracelet or something that has a puck on it, and that you do a lot of things with that puck. And one of the things you do is collect stamps. And if you go right now to Hollywood, um, you can actually get a special, stamp for opening month. Now, will that last into next month? I don't know, because they open on the 17th officially, and I know they had some pre-event opens, but I don't know how exclusive they were or anything about it. I just watched some people that went and told me that. So if you're close to Burbank, you love Mario, you love Nintendo, that might be something that you really need to probably consider is going to Super Nintendo World. This is at Hollywood, Universal Studios Hollywood in 2023. Now, you guys on the other side of the states, you will have a Super Mario or Super Nintendo World opening in Orlando, of course, in Universal Studios in 2025. So we got a time to wait over on this side of the country. Um, and I'm not on the East Coast, but I usually go to Orlando if I'm going to one of the big theme park areas. But let's talk about Mario for a minute. So Mario is culminating with the opening of its own area in a theme park, which, in my opinion, they could open their entire own theme park. Uh, because if you take all of the elements that are Nintendo and you add that in, you could have sections dedicated to it, just like they have in another park that has a mouse. Um, I mean, they really could. They could have Mario area being the main area, and then they could delve into like the Legend of Zelda area. They could delve into now that they own Sega, they could delve into the Sonic area. They could go over to Kirby Land, Dreamland or whatever. I don't know Kirby well enough to tell you that Kirby's Dreamland is the only thing about Kirby. I just know that there was a Kirby's Dreamland. Okay, um, there's Metroid. There's um, just thinking of the things that are exclusively Nintendo that you won't find anywhere else, and they could have a very pardon the expression, but voluptuous theme park. It would be amazing to see how many things they could do. Um, And in my opinion, I would put it kind of in the middle of the country and just catch the whole country somewhere like in one of these giant middle of the Midwest things. I know you got to worry about tornadoes, but hey, um, it don't happen that often, and the theme park would be awesome in the middle of the country. Anyway, so I uh, I think the other thing is the movie coming out. The movie comes out. I am not going to play this trailer all the way through, but we are going to fast forward down to the end and find out where it says April. It says April. That's all it said. I think it's April 7th. But obviously you should check your local theaters to find out exactly where and when in April. Okay? But April, Super Mario Brothers movie. Um, April. Yep, that's all it says. So we're gonna go with April for now. Um, but yeah, this to to for a video game to come out with a movie, and here's what drew the line of success for Super Mario. Now, Super Mario Brothers movie could be crap. Who knows? Um, and it's entirely possible it will be. But they have a lot of elements working for it, including the main character is voiced by Chris Pratt, who is probably one of the hottest actors in Hollywood right now. And they are coming off of and in the middle of the release year of probably their best franchise to date, and that is Sonic. The Sonic and Sonic 2 movies were did very well. And I know some people, reviewed those movies and liked them and didn't like them or whatever. I'm not here to review Sonic movie. Who knows? This may turn into a review channel, and maybe I'll review this movie because I'm excited about this movie. Um, the first thing I ever played, um, other than Pong and Tank, and this goes through Mario history. This is not Mario history. Where is it at? Here it is. This goes through Mario history. This is not Mario's only history. This is the Super Mario Brothers history. Because if we go back, you know, to let's sorry, I had to jump over to Donkey Kong, and that's because this is Mario. Now, something you have to understand that Mario, when he came out in Donkey Kong, this is the color scheme. He had uh, red overalls and a red hat and blue shirt. And of course, this is the history of Donkey Kong, but Donkey Kong and Mario were introduced in the same game. Now, the problem is Mario wasn't referred to as Mario; he's referred to as Jumpman. Uh, Now, they changed his name not long after that from Jumpman to Mario, but this was the introduction. So Donkey Kong was his original bad guy. So, you know, and then you go back to where's the history? History of what did I do here? Yeah, wasn't there. Got too many pages open. Right here. This came out in 1985. The Donkey Kong came out in 1981. So that's when Mario was actually introduced. Now, Donkey Kong Jr., which was the second Donkey Kong game, if I'm not mistaken, and sequels. Yeah, Donkey Kong Jr. was the next one, and then they come out with Donkey Kong 3, which just made no sense. And then many years later, they reappeared in 1994 with Donkey Kong Country, and that's really the Donkey Kong that a lot of people remember. Not even though we most people know that this Donkey Kong existed, this is the one that really made Donkey Kong into who he is today. And because I still can't seem to find the history. Uh, because that is really the oldest history of Super Mario. Super Mario Brothers uh, was not the first iteration of Mario. I'm gonna play this, but I'm gonna keep it low, and maybe it's not gonna let me turn it all the way down. But that's there's that's how you win the game right there. It was showing the trick. But this was it. This is Mario. This is Mario 2. And of course, I'm gonna pause that. We're not gonna talk the whole time that thing is going. But this is Super Mario 2, and this was Mario in. They never really told you until the end of the game, but this was Dreamland, if you would, for Mario. This is this was not the world that we knew, and we didn't understand why is it all of a sudden he's able to pick up things and throw them, but I loved it when it came out. I was like, okay, this is different, but I like it. And then I beat the game and I was like, what the heck? It wasn't the end that I expected. I thought maybe you'd just gone to a different land or whatever. No, this and then they would come out with Super Mario Land. Now this was on the Game Boy, and they have come out with a Game Boy emulator in Switch. Okay, um, and the Game Boy emulator does not have Super Mario Land as of yet. I don't know if this game there's some copyright issue with them actually uh, bringing Super Mario Land to the Switch or what. I really don't know, because they come out with Super Mario Land 2 is right here, released much later. In fact, it was introduced after Super Mario World, which was Super Mario World. Let's go back. Okay, Super Mario Land. Let's talk about Super Mario Land. He is facing off against Tatanga. Now I never did get far enough into the game to understand why there was some kind of space monster running around in this world. Um, I tried to play all the way through it, and I got about what I would think is halfway. I was like, okay. And then I put it down, playing because I got well. To be honest, I got tired of playing on Game Boy and started going back to my Nintendo because Super Mario 3 came out, and this was probably one of the best Mario games on the Nintendo ever. They brought Bowser back. Uh, he suddenly had Koopaling kids. You had to rescue the princess and also turn the kings of Mario Mushroom World back into normal. And then they were like, well, okay, so we did this entire world thing, and that's good that it worked, because now we're going to come out with another system that brings us into the world system, and that was Super Mario World. It used the same basic travel style in that map world to travel through the different worlds. It gave you a little bit of a choice. That's the same thing that Mario 3 did. And they come out with it on the Super Nintendo. And here's why. Because, I mean, if you look at it, this was released in 1990, this in 1991. Most of us were still playing Mario 3 in 1991. I know I was, and I was a young teenager. So I never got the Super Nintendo. I didn't get into Mario World uh, as deeply as some of my buddies did, even some of the same age buddies, because they got the Super Nintendo and they were playing it. And I went over and I played it a little bit, but I knew I couldn't play through and beat the whole game while I was hanging out at their house. So, and then you had Super Mario Land 2, the 6 golden coins, which introduced, I believe, Wario. Yeah, there we go. This intruder goes by. Okay. Um, an evil creep took over the castle and put the people of Mario Land under his control with his magic spell. The intruder goes by the name Wario. So Wario is introduced in Super Mario Land. Now Wario, as you know, they come out with his own series, his own games. They're very unique. And then they did the new Nintendo 64, and of course a new Mario with 3D graphics. Yeah, it is not the best graphics in my opinion. It never was. But what they did introduce next was Sunshine, and Sunshine was a good game. I've never played all the way through these games. The N64 GameCube games. I never played through them because I never had a GameCube. But I did play a little bit of it after the Switch emulator came out, and it introduced it in the Switch. Um, or was it the Wii that I played it first? I don't remember, but I did play a little bit, and I was like, "This is a pretty good game here." It has a whole different storyline than, uh, but it Isle of Delfino. So there's just a whole different theme going on there. And then the new Super Mario Bros., which was introduced for Nintendo DS, which was basically the original Super Mario, sort of. I think there was a lot of things that was changed in this game from the original, but it was had the look and feel of the original with more, at the time it was considered updated graphics, and that was kind of neat. And then they did Super Mario Galaxy. Now this one I did play on the Wii. Never got all the way through it, but I do, I did kind of follow the story. At the time, my ex girlfriend, she was playing it, and I kind of watched her play it more than I played it myself. I was playing other games. And then the Super Mario Brothers Wii came out, which I again harkens back to the original side scroller. It's almost like they can't get away from side scrollers because people love them, and I don't blame them. I do. I love the Mario scrollers. But then they did Super Mario Galaxy 2 because the Super Mario Galaxy was such a popular game that they introduced the second one. Me and the ex girlfriend kind of broke up by the time this one came out, so I never really got into this one as much. You know, anything she was into, I was just like, yeah, whatever. And then they did Super Mario 3D Land. So they had, okay, we had Super Mario Land. Let's do a Super Mario 3D Land. Makes sense, right? Um, for the Nintendo 3DS. And this one did pretty good if I remember correctly. Then they did the New Super Mario Brothers 2, which was pretty much the side scroller, but a completely different game. And I want to say this introduced a lot of the two player at the same time stuff for the handheld games. And then you got the Super Mario Brothers U, which was for the Wii U. Then, when the Nintendo Wii U started to transfer and they started coming out with the Switch, I don't know exactly when this game here was introduced to the Switch, or when the Switch was introduced. I'm trying to remember, but I do remember that Super Mario 3D World was such a success that they basically just brought it in to the next generation game as one of the primary games on the Switch. Now, this was Super Mario Maker. I don't know this one, Super Mario Run. It was for mobile. It's got to be for mobile phones. They must have tried to jump into mobile phones. I doubt it went well. Uh, but with the Super Mario Maker, you could create your own um, Super Mario game, and that was pretty cool, right? And then this is when the Switch really took over. They introduced Super Mario Odyssey. Now they had already introduced Switch. I'm gonna just find out. Okay, I had to look because I couldn't remember, but yeah, the Switch was introduced in 2017, and this became. I think it got, but it's because it got pushed back. That's what I'm not positive on, but I do believe that the Super Mario 3D World was introduced because the Switch introduction got pushed back pretty hard. That I think they were going to come out with it somewhere in this era, but it wasn't until 2017 they introduced the Switch, and Super Mario Odyssey became the premier game for the Nintendo Switch. And then they did Super Mario U Deluxe, which I'm not sure what the difference is between Super Mario U and Super Mario U Deluxe is. I would love to look into that. I just haven't had time to look into all these Mario games, and I played a lot of them. I played this one all the way through with my son. We had a good time with this one. This was a fun game. This was a really fun game. I officially have not beat the game because he takes the controller away from me every time we play it, but still, we we had a good time playing that game. And then Super Mario Maker 2, which was the first Mario that I got on the Switch for my son because I wanted him to get used to the controls. And I could make games that were easy to play so that he could figure out how the controls work. And then now he probably outplays me with Mario games, to be honest. He's still learning some of the controls on Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. He still struggles sometimes with button mashing as opposed to intended movements, which that's okay. His old man probably does the same thing. But and then in the Switch, they introduced Super Mario 3D All Stars. This goes back to, hey, did you love this game? If you loved this game on Nintendo 64, like Super Mario 64, you can play it here. Or how about Mario Sunshine or Mario Galaxy? Um, why Mario Galaxy 2 wasn't introduced into the Switch yet? I don't know. I'm sure there's some issues with you know re updating the graphics to a newer system or whatever. But then they introduced in 2021, and I bought this one, Super Mario 3D World and Bowser's Fury. And I'll tell you what, um, I loved, absolutely loved these two games, and Bowser's Fury is absolutely its own game in its own right. It really is. There is no reason they could not have released this just as a single game and probably got plenty of money out of it. And they introduced it as a double game, and I don't know why. So yeah, that was it. Um, Now that's not all of the games. That's just the line of Super Mario games. But if you look, you can see Yoshi was introduced in Super Mario. What did I say it was? Super Mario Land? No, Super Mario World. Super Mario Land was on the Game Boy. Super Mario World. Uh, I always got confused as to exactly who Daisy is. I always wanted to make her the lady that the Donkey Kong kidnapped, but I don't think it is. She has her own place, but I don't know her history. Then there's Wario, Waluigi, who's the opposite of Luigi. Rosalina, she came in Super Mario Galaxy. Bowser Jr. came in, of course, in Super Mario 3. Um, Boo came in Super Mario, the original. This is Donkey Kong, of course, was one of the oldest characters, and then Diddy Kong. Actually, Donkey Kong is, out of all of these, he is technically the oldest character because Mario didn't have a name in Donkey Kong originally. So let's look. So there, this is what I pulled this up specifically because I wanted to talk about Bowser's Fury, just because it is an amazing game. And the fun thing is you can play 2 player. It's limited. You play it like Odyssey, where your second player is Bowser Jr. And of course, my kid is weird. He likes Bowser and he likes Bowser Jr. And those are, at one time, they were his favorite characters. And so he always played Bowser Jr. and I played Mario. We had a good time until he realized that he wanted to control everything, and then Dad had to play Bowser Jr. But and then Super Mario, like I said, it's reached its apex. I got to wrap this up because we're breaking over my 25-minute desired mark. But they introduced the Super Mario furniture and things into Animal Crossing. They've introduced Super Mario Legos where they're interactive. They actually, you pounce on something that has a um, electronic card in it, and it shows up on their chest, which is really cool. Um, there you go. He's on the planes. You can put some of the little characters together and break them apart. That's kind of fun. The Super Mario Minecraft, they created a Mario skin and a Mario world in Minecraft, so you can actually go. This is if you know Minecraft. This is the the Nether, and that is where Bowser's castle is. So that's pretty fun. So yeah, Mario has such a hugely rich history. Mario Kart, oh my gosh, they're on Mario Kart 8. I didn't even talk about it. They have Mario Party. They're on Superstars. This is like Mario Party 6 or 7. I don't know exactly. There are several Mario parties. Me and my son play. We have 2 of them, because Mario Party is fun. Um, he's kind of gotten away from it, but he has this one. He plays it. I can't get him to play it with me. I don't know why. I guess he's afraid he struggles sometimes with the driving games because he's actually a better driver than he is in the games. But but anyway, of course I don't let him drive real big vehicles. He's 7, but he always drove his little go karts and what you call it, big wheel things, the power wheel things. But yeah, Mario is amazing. It's an amazing history. I loved. I'm going to shut some of this down. I loved the history of Mario. I love the games. I still play. I'm still trying to play through all of the games. That's how much. Um, I still go back and play Mario 3. And this is what did I say? 1990 what? I mean, here, let's look again. I know I need to wrap it up. But yeah, 1990. 33 years later, I'm still playing this game. 32 years later, I'm still trying to remember to make it all the way through this game because I don't have patience to sit down and play a game for as long as it takes to play all the way through, and start back over every time you die. So so but yeah, this is an amazing history. It's Super Mario, and I couldn't do a Let's Talk series without talking about Super Mario. Thank you for coming to Let's Talk. This is Fire Knight 13 signing off. Wish you all Godspeed. We'll see you next time.